Okay, here we are, tapped in. I am with Michael Kaplan. All right, so you're out of North Star BJJ, and that's in Prescott Valley, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
and you guys are fairly new, right? You just started this up because
We opened about 6 months ago.
Yeah, cool. That's awesome. And so you're out of Gracie, Arizona, right? You trained under...
Okay, so I started at Gracie, Arizona for about 8 years. And then when I was a brown belt, I went to Aries, Arizona for about 3 or 4 years. And then I trained at Mountain Tribe for the last 5 or so after moving to Prescott.
How is the new school over there? It looks super nice. In Prescott Valley, that's a really nice location. How's it going over there?
And as far as I know, we're the first Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu academy here.
Oh, no way.
Things are going really great. I'm kind of over the moon about it, to be honest.
Yeah. Is this something that you always wanted to do, to open up a school?
Yeah, it's kind of, I don't know. I was never did on it until the last couple of years, but you know, it was one of those things that was like a bucket list thing. What else is left to do now that I got the black belt and did the competition stuff and all that?
Yeah. And is this what you do full time, or do you have a part-time thing on the side?
I have a part-time job, so I can have help at the pitch and stuff, and then
until you get super busy, and then you got to leave that, right?
That's kind of going that direction quickly, you know.
Awesome, cool. All right. So tell us how you got into jiu-jitsu. How did that all start for you?
Well, really, like, I needed a positive outlet in my life. Things were the best, you know, during my childhood, and life wasn't really going where I hoped it would.
Yeah.
So I looked for something, for a positive outlet I could really direct a lot of my attention to, and I couldn't have found anything better, to be honest.
And when did you actually start? At what age?
It was 2010. I was 20 years old.
Wow. Okay. And then so now you're a black belt and you started up your own school. Tell us how your journey has been as a professor, and how long have you been teaching?
Yeah, so I started teaching in like 2012 when I was a purple belt. I was really just kind of looking for help with the competition piece and things like that. I was kind of all in on that stuff.
Yeah.
So my professor at the time kind of gave me a class like once a week, and I didn't have to pay dues anymore. And that kind of made a huge difference. And after having a little success as a master's competitor, I got offered a job where I got to teach kind of full time for, I don't know, 3 or 4 years. And that really kind of gave me the experience I needed to do this, you know, day in and day out teaching.
Yeah. Awesome. And so we've also been seeing you out in the competition scene. Do you still currently compete? I think you do, right?
Yeah. I'm signed up right now to do the Grand Canyon Invitational.
Yeah, awesome.
I haven't done so much of the IBJJF things in the last few years since moving to Prescott, getting the black belt. Everything kind of changes, you know. It's cliche, but like it's definitely a fresh start. So
yeah,
I kind of stick to 1 or 2 local events a year, nothing too crazy.
And you're currently ranked #1 in your division. Is that right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I took the tie at Master 1.
That's super cool. Wow, that's awesome. So can you share more about your competition experience? So you say you do lots of local events. How long have you been competing for?
I started when I was a blue belt. No, I'm sorry. My first one was 2010. It was the Southwest Classic.
Okay.
In Phoenix. I got my butt kicked really bad, and it kind of like motivated me. I don't know, someone else might have quit, but I was kind of hooked after that. I doubled down, and I don't know, I guess realized how much more work I needed to do and was motivated to do it.
Yeah.
And so, wasn't until like purple belt that I kind of started to catch my rhythm, like in the master's division, but yeah, done an awful lot of competing over the years.
That's awesome. And I love, like, I've seen you compete and you're just so composed all the time. Like you don't look flustered at all. You're just like, kind of just like relying on your technique and just going with it, which is awesome to see. Because sometimes you see people all frazzled and it's like, but you're not like that. You're like the opposite of that. It's cool.
I mean, I've definitely been there, my experiences kind of shaped my routine. And so now I just go through the motions.
Right. Okay. So what are your thoughts on competition? Do you think it's for everyone?
I don't think it's for everyone. I think everyone should try it because you might surprise yourself. Might be something, you realize that you really liked, but you never really know until, there's only one way to find out.
Right. Okay. And so competitions are nerve-wracking, as we know. How do you handle your internal battles? Because like I said, you just seem super calm and composed. So what is your secret? Like, or are you like internally, like just like combusting? Like what's happening?
I'm definitely not like externally combusting. I'll tell you that much. Like I said, it's a lot of personal experiences, a lot of trial and error. My mindset is it's very personal to me and the things that I've been through.
Yeah.
Certain things people said that resonated with me and those experiences that I mentioned. So I need to get into a certain kind of headspace. I'm not gonna lie, I need to be a little bit mad at my opponent.
Yeah.
It's not a negative thing or a hateful or disrespectful thing, I don't think, but yeah.
That's how you kind of get into it. Gotcha.
Yeah.
What are your requirements for students, for your students to be able to compete? Do you have any at your school?
Requirements? I mean, I don't know. Competing is not really my decision. If they do want to do it in a tournament, they can definitely haul off and go do it. But, I would hope that they were having a basic understanding of the rules and, not go out with unrealistic expectations.
Yeah.
I think that as an early competitor, winning and losing isn't necessarily as important as figuring out what your routine is, getting comfortable in that setting, which can be chaotic and stressful.
Mm-hmm.
So,
do you offer competition classes?
Do we have competition classes? We don't yet. We're a little small for that.
Okay.
So right now we've kind of just been pulling people interested in competing aside and talking to them about their game plan.
Yeah.
Trying to get to the bottom of what their best techniques are and coming up with a game plan that can kind of get them in those positions as quickly as possible.
Mm-hmm.
In the tournaments. I definitely have an idea of how I want to run comp classes when we get to that point, but we just kind of have to grow into it. Right now we're only bringing 4 or 5 competitors to the tournaments.
Yeah.
But we have lots of people who are very dedicated and motivated to compete once we get them to that, 6 months to a year of experience where they feel confident enough to try it out.
Yeah, especially because they see you competing all the time too. That probably motivates them even more. So that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely see value in the coaches competing here, but I think down the road, when the students have success with the competition, that's going to be a whole nother level of motivating factor for the students here. So it starts with us and then hopefully, continues with them.
Yeah. How do you teach your students about the rules? Because, like every competition has their own set of rules. And so we follow the IBJJF rules. So how do you teach the students regarding rules?
In terms of like talking about points on a day-to-day basis in class, I mostly refer to the IBJJF rule set. It's definitely the one that I prefer. We don't talk to the kids about rules really. I think it's a little bit much for them. So we let the coaching sort of implement the rule strategy when it comes to the kids. Mm-hmm. But adults, it's kind of something that I talk about day to day as we're going through techniques and questions on the techniques and things like that. I don't sit them down and talk about it for extended periods of time or anything like that.
Mm-hmm. What about regarding weight classes and cutting weight? How do you guide your students on that?
I definitely think weight cutting is kind of ugly term at this point. I think dieting and taking your time, eating clean,
Yeah.
you can make up a lot of ground. And just doing it the healthy way.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely don't advocate for kids putting on trash bags or anything like that. It actually drives me crazy. Some of these wrestling programs are still doing that.
Yeah.
I don't want to stunt these kids' growth. I think it's terrible.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. How do you talk to your students about being mentally prepared for competition, especially if it's their very first competition? What do you say to them? Like, how do you get them like mentally prepared?
I mean, I think about what people have said to me, things that have resonated. I remember Pans when I was a purple belt, I was crazy stressed about my competition, and I was, telling one of my teammates, "This is stupid. Like, why am I here doing this? I'm gonna wrestle in public in front of everyone. It's silly." And he goes, "It isn't silly. You actually really like it, and you're pretty good at it." And I don't know, things like that. It with me, and
Yeah.
so my experience is things that people have said to me that resonated. I hope will resonate with them as well. I very much think that the mindset is personal, and people need to approach it in a way that gets under, their sort of feelings.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we've seen you at the Arizona Jiu-Jitsu League events. How has your experience been? And you're okay to say whatever you want, good, bad. It's up to you. So go ahead.
I have nothing negative to say about the AZ BJJ League. It's really kind of near and dear to my heart. It was my first tournament ever, and I'm super proud to be bringing my own team to the AZ BJJ League events. I think we're very lucky to have such a high caliber event here in Arizona. I think you'd be hard pressed to find one like it in any of the other 49. And I'm genuine about that.
Awesome. We love to hear it. Thank you so much for supporting the Arizona Jiu-Jitsu League. We're excited to see you compete again, and hopefully you take that #1 spot officially. And again, thank you so much. And it was nice meeting you, and thank you for sharing.
Yeah, and thank you for everything you do for the community as well. I'm a big fan of your pictures and your videos and stuff.
Thank you so much.